Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to Ebru Primetime News on this, the August 2nd, 2020. My name is Abdiaziz. Hashim. Stick around for the next 35 minutes or so to get the latest in the world of current affairs, business, as well as sports. But first things first, let's start with the day's highlight. Welcome to the program once more. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim, and a sign language interpreter at the bottom end of the screen is Joyce Wairimu. And we start with the surging pandemic, where Kenya has recorded 690 new cases of COVID-19, increasing the total confirmed cases to 22,052. However, 5 more Kenyans have succumbed to the disease, increasing the death toll to 368. Our reporter Jeff Kayamba starts our coverage this evening.
It is the second day of August, a peak month of the coronavirus pandemic. In the next 2 months, Kenyans will experience turbulences in containing the virus, which has infected thousands of people. On Sunday, the number of the confirmed cases jumped to 22,053 after 690 people tested positive. In a media statement sent to the newsrooms, Nairobi County still took the lead of the infections with 535 cases. Within Nairobi County, Westlands recorded 63 people, Langata 44, Dagoretti North and Dagoretti South, both recording 43 cases, Embakasi East 40, Stare 38, Kamukunji 32, Makadara 30, Embakasi South 29, Kasarani 27, Kibra 25, Embakasi West 23, Roysambu 21, Embakasi North 20, Mathare, Embakasi Central, and Ruaraka, both recording 19 cases each. The other counties which received positive cases of COVID-19 include Kiambu 56, Kajiado 28, Nyeri 24, Busia 9, Machakos 7, Kisumu and Nakuru County, both recording 6 cases. Embu and Garissa, both recording 4 cases each. Laikipia and Naroko counties, both recorded 3 cases each. Bungoma, Kwale, Meru, Mombasa and Nyandarua recorded 1 case each. But as COVID-19 cases surged, the number of the recoveries also increased to 80,477 after 58 patients recovered and were discharged from various hospitals. 5 patients, however, succumbed to the coronavirus disease, bringing the total number of the fatalities to 369. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Kayamba.
And in other news, 5 people have been killed and 3,008 others displaced in the ongoing Eastern Mau clashes. 16 suspects have been arrested for their involvement in the ongoing wrangles in Olposimero area in Nakuru County. Now, 83 people have been injured while 40 others admitted in different hospitals having sustained serious injuries. Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, that is George Natembeya, said the arrested individuals will face assault and arson charges. Among others, Natembeya spoke in Nakuru earlier today after a security meeting to address the ongoing violence in the area.
Watu 5 wamefariki kutokana na hii vita. Wala ambao wamekufa wa umri wa chini sana miaka 16, umri wa juu ni miaka 35, lakini kuna mmoja ambaye taarifa yake hatuna ya kutosha, hakuwa na kitambulisho, za non person, non adult. Wala ambao wameumia ni watu 83 katika kutoka hizo sub county zote mbili. Mdogo ni miaka 19, yule wa juu sana miaka 58. Watu 40 bado wako hospitalini hapa Provincial General Hospital hapa Nakuru, Molo, Njoro na Elbagon, wanaendelea kupata matibabu. Wako katika hali ambayo tunasema ni stable. Wale wanapata nafuu kidogo wanaruhusiwa kwenda nyumbani. Wale watu ambao wamekuwa displaced, wametoka nyumbani kwao, either kwa sababu nyumba imechomwa ama kwa sababu wanahofia usalama wao, ni watu 3,008 na wako katika Nursery Primary School, Nursery Secondary School, Ainaptich Primary School, wako na Msegeko Primary School na Elbagon Police Station. Hawa watu tunasema kwa sababu usalama umerejea, warudi nyumbani. Tuko na maafisa wa usalama wa kutosha, warudi nyumbani, na watu wamekubali kuacha vita. Kwa hivyo badala ya kuendelea kukaa katika ile shule, warudi nyumbani. Wale ambao nyumba zao zilichomwa, kama serikali ya national government, county government na Red Cross, tutawatafutia mabati, mbao kidogo, misumari, ili wajenge nyumba tena. Tutaki watu wakae nje na kuna baridi nyingi kwa sasa.
Now elsewhere, Lugari Member of Parliament, that is Ayub Savula, has joined the Federation of Kenyan Lawyers, FIDA bandwagon, in calling for the dissolution of both houses of Parliament and the push for the two-third gender parity. Now, besides FIDA, Law Society of Kenya, LSK, has filed a petition in court which seeks to dissolve the august House over failure to implement the long-time bill that has flopped severally on the floor of the House. Savula, who has declared for Kakamega County gubernatorial seat, while addressing Lugari residents, says he is ready for a by-election where he has vowed to support the implementation of the two-third.
Saa hii nasikia kijana wenyu hapa anaenda kule Sugoi kwa jirani yangu kwa Ruto kuombaomba pesa kidogo kidogo kuja kutanganya watu hapa, twende tupigie Ruto president. Saa hii Waluye wote mkipenda sisi wote twende kwa nani? Musalia Mudavadi awe rais wa jamhuri. Kule kotini nasikia Law Society of Kenya imeenda kotini, nasema bunge ivunje kwa sababu tumeshindwa kupitisha ati mswada ya kuweka two-thirds gender. Ati wamama wakae wengi kule bungeni, sisi tumeshindwa kupitisha. Mimi nawaambia Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, advise rais, kama wanataka kuvunja bunge, wavunje. Sisi tuko tayari, wananchi warudi uchaguzi. We are ready. Sisi hatuogopi chochote. Kama wewe ukufanyia wananchi kazi, wewe ndio utaanza kutetemea. Mimi niko tayari. Kwanza mimi nataka iende hivyo haraka haraka tumalizane na watu. Kwa sababu lazima tujipime your popularity. Pana gari wasema bunge isivunjwe. Kwa sababu hiyo mswada kama sisi wenyewe tumejaribu mara 2 mara 3 imeshindikana. Si bunge ivunjwe. Turudi mpaka tutengeneze hiyo katiba. Hiyo ndio itakuwa discipline kwa wale wabunge, wale tunapeleka mswada, tutengeneze wamama waingie wengi bungeni. Wanasema hapana, wamama wasikae hapa wengi, women reps sijui nini. Wewe ulizaliwa na mama na unapinga viti wa mama. Wewe ni kichwa chako mzuri.
Former Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) Commissioner Rosalina Akombe has accused her former colleague Ezra Chiloba of threatening her. Akombe claimed that the ex-CEO at the poll agency sent her a notice warning her against disclosing details of the death of their former colleague Chris Msando. According to Dr. Rosalina Akombe, the warning came a day after she published information stating she was ready to testify before an independent judicial inquest that will seek to unmask the killers of Msando. Akombe, through a Twitter handle, said, and I quote, "On 29th of July, I said I will testify at an independent judicial inquest into the murder of my colleague Chris," end of quote. She even went ahead to claim that a former IEBC commissioner sent her an email. The former IEBC official maintained that it confirms her call for an inquiry. "Kenyans deserve to know the truth. I owe it to you," said Akombe. The short email allegedly sent to Akombe simply said that, and I quote, "Our silence is not your license," words that have elicited mixed reactions online. Many Kenyans are wondering as to why the ex-IEBC commissioner is uncomfortable of the thought that his former colleague is set to testify. The tweet by Akombe has rekindled the calls to probe the death of Msando, who worked as an IT manager at IEBC and was killed on July 29, 2017, days to the disputed August 8, 2017 general election. The death of Msando left a bad taste in the mouth of many Kenyans. Senate has banned physical committee meetings in a bid to stem the spread of coronavirus. This means the senators will not set foot in Parliament for committee meetings. Now, National Assembly had earlier partially locked down its activities amid fears of rising cases of MPs and other parliamentary staff contracting the deadly virus. Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka said that all physical committee meetings had been suspended for a month to curb the spread of the deadly contagion. Now let's go back to the world of politics, where Western political leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto have castigated the move by their counterparts led by Kotu boss Francis Atwoli and Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa and Kakamega County Governor, that is Wycliffe Oparanya, to visit Baringo Senator Gideon Moi of a purported development agenda over the weekend while attending a church service in Bumula in Bungoma County. The leaders faulted Atwoli and Wamalwa of playing underhand politics for their own selfish interest. Our political affairs reporter Jeff Haimer with more details on that particular story.
The scramble for the Mulembe vote seems to be one of the hardest battles before 2022. With the 2 years remaining before the polls, the region is witnessing intense lobbying, with each camp trying as much as possible to marshal the votes into one basket. Over the weekend, the Kotu boss Francis Atwoli, who is a KANU party member, led the other Western leaders at the home of the Baringo Senator Gideon Moi in a meeting meant to spearhead for the 2022 political agenda. But a day after their meeting, their rival camp lashed at them, accusing them of pushing an agenda for their own selfish interests.
Oparanya wakiungana na Atwoli na hiyo brigade yao wametuaibisha kama sisi watu wa Luya, watu kutoka Western Province. Hii serikali walikuwa nasema wanajiunga nayo ni kupepa mnara kupelekea Gideon. Na kama ni mnara walikuwa wanataka kupelekea Gideon, so wangeita Gideon wamleta hapa Uhuru Park, wamuonyeshe mnara ya Moi iko hapa imebeba fimbo.
Leo asubuhi nimeenda kununua gazeti. Ninaona ndugu zangu Atwoli na hiyo grupu yake wamechukua msafara, wameenda delegation kwa Gideon Moi.
The leaders mostly allied to the Deputy President William Ruto, led by Didimas Baras of Kimilili, Justus Murunga of Matungu, Ben Washal of Mumias East, Dan Wanyama of Webuye East, Malulu Injen of Malava, and former Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale slammed Atwoli-led camp, saying it cannot deliver the Western vote.
So if you are thinking that Gideon Moi can be the president of this nation, I am better off 100 times.
Kitu ya ajabu, atukwenda kuzindua picha sanamu ya Moi aliyekufa.
Serikali ya 2022 kwa sababu ya ile utafiti tumekuwa naye Kenya mzima, ule yuko mbele na Ruto na Musalia anaweza kupandia kwa mgongo yake ili naye hawe hapo karibu. Ama namna gani jameni?
It said the leaders including Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, Kakamega County boss Wycliffe Oparanya, Francis Atwoli, and some 4 Kenya party members who met Baringo Senator Gideon Moi at Kabarak, held a series of discussions on their political future. Gideon Moi is using all the possible avenues to enter into the shoes of his late father Daniel Moi. However, Ruto allies say Gideon Moi's dream of becoming the 5th president of Kenya is far-fetched.
That if you are not on the negotiating table, maybe you are in the menu, wewe ndio wanapika kwa jikoni alafu kuja wakukule. Sasa hao mimi hata nimeamua nikasema tusukume hii ndugu zetu hawa wakubwa. Tusukume Wetangula, tusukume Musalia, hawa wakuje tusonge mbele. Lakini hao wakichelewa, mimi siwezi kuwa deputy president ya nchi ya Kenya.
Nikitembea Bungoma yote, nikitembea Kakamega yote, sijaiambiwa gavana amekuwa hapa akituletea mpango yake ya vile tutakuwa tayari ya kupigana na COVID-19.
Hii handshake sasa imepromote maneno ya corruption. Governors wote wale wameibia county zao wanakimbia kwa handshake ili waweze kuwa sanitized.
The duo urged the rival camp to unite by supporting Deputy President William Ruto, whom they believe will emerge victorious come 2022. Gideon Moi, who seems to have been declared as President Uhuru Kenyatta's successor by the deep state, began the campaign to strengthen his political party of KANU after the burial of his father. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Haemba.
And away from the world of politics, a section of Kenyans are calling upon the government to cushion thousands of teachers employed by school boards of management and other support staff who have been going without salary from their respective institutions for 3 months now. Led by a non-governmental organization dubbed Kimani Mumbi Foundation, they said that the teachers are suffering due to lack of basic commodities such as food and finances to sustain their families.
The organization founder, Anthony Kimani Mumbi, noted that many of these teachers who have been rendered jobless due to the COVID-19 pandemic and who mostly not on TSC payroll have been greatly affected.
Teachers need everyone's understanding and assistance. Some of them, we have learned, have been teaching in that capacity as BOM teachers for 15 years. And yet we know TSC employs teachers, yet they have not been employed as yet. Maybe those are things that, it's a discussion that going forward, people must start thinking and asking questions.
Speaking at Kirwara, Gatura, Kiumbuini and Ithanga zones, where they donated food items to over 300 BOM and ECD primary school teachers across the Gatanga constituency in Murang'a County, Mumbi urged the teachers employing body TSC to absorb these teachers so that they can enjoy their teaching profession.
Also emphasizing on the importance of these teachers. We have seen that during these moments when teachers have not been teaching, we have seen social vices. We have seen a lot of them happening simply because the teachers and the students are again not too close to each other as used to be.
Samuel Thuku Mwaura is a physically challenged teacher who has been teaching at Gakunyu Primary School for a decade and has never been employed by the government.
Even today, that there are teachers who have been employed by school boards, sometimes for 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, and yet time is still moving. They have not been absorbed by the government. They have all the requisite papers. I think it's important that the sector that looks into these things starts thinking about these people.
The situation is not different from Wambui Njuguna, ECD teacher in Gatanga Education Zone, and her Ithanga Zone counterpart Veronica Ngina. They are now calling upon the government to employ long-serving BOM teachers in the ministry.
To ask the government to employ these teachers. They are tried and tested. They've been trained using government resources. They need to be absorbed to give service to government. The TSC needs to absorb some of these teachers who have been out of here teaching for more than 15 years, employed by parents, and at the mercy of parents.
Maombi yetu kama walimu wa ICD ni serikali tukumbuke. Tuajiriwe na TSC. Kwa hivyo kama wakati a time like this tunaona walimu wale ambao wameajiriwa na TSC wanapata mshahara kama kawaida.
This comes a few days after the government announced that it would release funds at the end of the month of July 2020 to support teachers and staff on public schools payroll. The government will release the money at the end of this month to pay the BOM teachers, cooks, secretaries, bursars, matrons and other subordinate staff in schools. Statistics from the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Teachers, KUPPET, indicate that about 120 teachers employed by BOMs have not received their salaries since the government ordered closure of schools in March due to the coronavirus pandemic. Busara Naman for Ebru TV.
Now to the contentious division of revenue. Turkana County Governor, that is Josephat Nanok, has said that the nation needs to observe proper means of ensuring that there is equity in revenue allocation, debate saying that all counties in the country shall have special consideration in allocation of funds and resources. Nanok added that there is need for counties with a lot of land to benefit from funds to open up areas that were marginalized. Commission on Revenue Allocation CRA came up with a formula which was to be adopted by the Senate, which assigns health 15%, basic share 14%, agriculture 10%, while the population has been weighted from 18 to 45% in the current formula.
Zingine zimeongezewa pesa, zingine kama yangu ya Turkana, pesa imepunguzwa kwa njia kubwa. Lakini saa hii tuna hiyo utetezi, kwa maana nchi ya Kenya na rasilimali ya Kenya ni ya Wakenya wote 47 na ni ya ardhi ya Kenya yote. Iwe ni wapi, kuna jukumu ya rasilimali ya Kenya na serikali ya Kenya kuhakikisha wamepeleka uwezo katika kona zote ya ardhi yetu. Na kama area kama hii tunasema ambayo iko mashamba, na mgao wa pesa ilisema hakuna mashamba, wataweka pesa mahali mashamba iko. Tutafunguaje area kama hii ambayo iko na potential? Kama haiwezi weko pesa, igawio pesa kama kule Trans Nzoia mahali kuna mashamba. We must look at allocation ya resources where there is a potential also to grow. Kama eneo hii tukisema ni kupatia nyinyi mashamba wote, na pesa ya mashamba already imepewa mahali mashamba iko, tutafunguaje area hii ambayo inahitaji mashamba?
Now to a heart-wrenching story. A family in Chemusian village, Ainabkoi constituency in Uasin Gishu County is crying for justice for their 13-year-old daughter who was defiled by 5 men. The 13-year-old now has been infected with STIs. Take a look.
Joana alinidanganya na pesa 100 kila siku, akinipea na ananifuruta kwa mahindi ndani. Anaenda kufanyia tabia mbaya.
Friday evening at Chelaga's, not her real name, home at Chemusian village. We found her busy trying to clean their compound, a mentally challenged girl whose case attracts the entire villagers. Deep inside her heart exists a dark cloud of sad story, that of being defiled by 5 men.
Nikitaka kupiga nduru anashika kiraka na ananiwekea mdomo.
Chelagat, a standard 5 pupil, narrates how men severally defiled her by enticing her with money and other gifts.
William akanifanyia tena, akinipea mahindi 4. Josephat akaanza tena, akanipatia pesa 100. Weldon tena akaanza, akanipatia 20. Weldon mwingine akaanza, akanipatia 20.
Her mother says that she took her to the hospital where it was confirmed that she was infected by sexually transmitted diseases.
Shika asubuhi na mkuje naye mpaka hospitali. Asubuhi hiyo akakuja mpaka hospitali, tukafanya medication. Mtoto akapimwa, akapatikana na ugonjwa, na mtoto alikuwa ameharibika sana.
The angry villager condemned the act, urging the government to move with speed with investigation for her to get justice. They, however, vowed to take the law into their hands if the culprit will not be detained.
Pombe ni nyingi. Sasa kila siku akapatia watoto shangi. Na hiyo ni msase. Hata kama nyinya akarudisha hapa, utaweka moto.
Lakini katika hii kitendo na hii vile mtoto alitueleza na vile mtoto alitoa ushahidi yake, tulishangaa. Kwa hiyo watu, na ni watu wazima, ni watu wengine wako na mabibi, wengine wako na wajukuu, lakini tunashindwa kuelewa. Hii Kenya watu wameharibika, unyama imetoka kwa wanyama na ikakuja kwa mtu.
The victim's teacher has urged parents to be more close to their children during COVID-19 pandemic period.
Kilio chetu kama shule, kwa niaba ya shule, walimu wenzangu, tunasikitika sana kwa sababu msimu huu wa corona tunajua kwamba wanafunzi wengi wamedhulumiwa. Na kinachosikitisha zaidi ni kwamba kuna wazazi ambao wanachukulia msaha. Ukisikia kitendo kama hiki, kuna wazazi ambao wanasema tuongee kinyumbani. Inasikitisha sana.
Na katika sheria ya watoto, hatutakubali kitu kama hii iweze kuendelea. Mtu wote ambaye amepatikana na kosa kama hii ni sharti afikishwe katika mahakama. Na naomba ya kwamba security systems ama mkuu wa Uasin Gishu County Police Commandant aweze kufuatilia jambo hili. Hao watu wasiwachiliwe hata mmoja hadi wafikishwe kotini.
Reporting for Ebru TV from Chemusian Village, Wasinigishu County, my name is Augustine Were.
Now, residents of Kitui living along the Tiva River in Kitui Rural Constituency have lauded Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu for partially lifting the ban on sand harvesting for their community-registered CBO. The residents claim that sand harvesting has been a great financial remedy, especially during this period of COVID-19.
It's a reprieve for residents in Kitui County after Governor Ngilu lifted the ban for some time, allowing Kitui-based community CBOs to venture into sand harvesting at Tiva River at Kiromboko area of Mwingi West in Kiambere Dam. According to the residents, more than 300 households from the Tiva area are currently benefiting from the proceeds of sand harvesting so far, and the area CBO is constructing a new school which is expected to benefit the community even more.
Tuko vijana karibu 300 saa hii. Tunachota hii mchanga. Tunaomba gavana atuongezee ngari tuendelee na hii kazi.
Sasa huku kwetu kulikuwa tumeletewa sifa mingi, mara mbaya tunasikiza ati maiti huku ni wezi. Wengine ni magaidi. Sisi tunashangaa. Sasa kichana mimi naomba ni atuongezee kazi.
Nicodemus Masesi, who is the chair for the Tiva CBO, lauded Governor Ngilu for allowing sand harvesting along River Tiva, saying that residents have been benefiting immensely from the venture.
Kwa vile niko na vijana 200 wale wanasiatika na hii mchanga. Kwa hii mkaza ya corona tumesaidika sana. Hatuko kufinywa sana na majaa, magonjwa na vitu vingine.
Masesi urged Governor Ngilu to equip locals with small lorries so that they may be able to supply enough sand for local construction, claiming the 20 lorries which are currently operating are not enough.
Kwa hivyo tunaomba kwa hiyo muda wametupatia kutoka tumeanza Julai mpaka Oktoba. Tuone kama tunasaidika sana. Atuangalie sana, atuongezee magari. Kwa hivyo magari tulipatiwa 17.
Lakini inakuja 5.
Inakuja 5, ingine haikuji.
Sabina Mbuvi, also a resident from the area, said that through sand harvesting, locals have been able to put food on the table for their families.
Tuko na faida sana juu ya hii mchanga. Kwa sababu hii mchanga imetusaidia sana. Inatusaidia kuhusu hata shule. Tumejenga shule, tumeandikisha shule kwa sababu tunataka ikuwe primary school. Tunasaidia watu wale hawajiwezi.
She urged the governor to consider sourcing sand from the area for use at Manyenyoni, where it is being used for the construction of cabros and other construction materials. Busara Naman for Ebru TV.
Let's get sporty. Former FKF Nyanza National Executive Committee member Tom Alila has now joined the place for FKF president in the country. He will be competing against the incumbent president Nick Mwendwa, Nicholas Musonye, Lodvik Aduda, Sam Nyamwe, Habat Mwashiro, Sam Sholei, and Twaha Mubarak.
Former FKF Nyanza National Executive Committee member Tom Alila has now joined the race for FKF president in the country.
I think it's calling for branch elections.
Speaking in Kisumu, Alila noted that some teams and players are still suffering under the current leadership, adding that if it happens elected, he will change and improve both the direction of football and the welfare of players.
Players are the raw materials of football. Without players, there will be no football. And without playing surface, there is no football. Without funds, there is no football. So all these things work in tandem for one another. As I said, the government is one of the biggest sponsors for sports in this country. And that goodwill is needed. That's why I'm saying that if I'm elected, I should be working with the government very closely. Because now we have what we call sports fund and all the issues that I talked about. Whether this regulating this betting, taking percentages to sort out players' welfare in terms of insurance. Big talent, but no proper directions on how we are doing development of soccer, which in terms means coaching, refereeing, and this curriculum I'm talking about, which FIFA set up as the governing body of football.
Alila further said that he will move to speed and improve women's football in the country that for long has been underrated.
That is the women football. in terms of allowances, the allowances should be at par with the Harambee Stars, because they're also playing for national team. It is wrong to pay Harambee Stars players, the boys 10,000, then you pay women team 500. It doesn't sound well. I think it is better to start with a few issues, which is development of football from grassroots, which I was saying, from schools, and even people who are out of schools but have talent, and then we move up to feed the national team for the whole country.
Alila will be vying against the incumbent President Nick Mwendwa, Nicholas Musonye, Lodvik Aduda, Sam Nyamweya, Habat Machiro, Sam Cholei, and Toha Mubarak. Yes. Daniel Dembede, Ebru TV, Kisumu County.
24 hours later is still a sweet victory over our North London rivals. We call them the noisy neighbors, the Blues. That brings us to the end of our bulletin this evening. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim, and our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Joyce Wairimu. And a big thank you to the gallery team led by Charles, and here in the studio by Suleiman. Good night and enjoy your evening.